Welcome to Widow Chat. My name is Sarah, and for those of you new to our podcast, we appreciate you tuning in. We are widows. We are two widows. We are not therapists. We're just two widows going through the same thing, and we hope you'll find something interesting about what we have to say. And today's topic will focus on social media and widowhood. So I'm going to throw it to Stacy to start this one off.
So this is one of the topics that I put on my list of things I wanted to talk about. I'm Stacy. I'm Sarah's fellow widow. And so social media plays a huge part in a widow's life, good and bad. And the role it plays is completely up to the widow. Mm-hmm. But if you were a Facebook user or an Instagram or even a little Twitter prior to your spouse's death, and that was still the way you kept in touch with people and kept track of what was happening in their lives, it can be really difficult then to hop back on Facebook and see the family photos of your friends who traveled to Mexico for spring break, or someone who put a throwback picture of their wedding anniversary. Those things can hurt, and you may need to just check out of social media for a while. It might be your go-to thing when you don't know what else to do, and sometimes that's a really bad idea because for me, in those early weeks and months, it kind of heightened my loss. There's one more picture of something that I'm not going to experience again. When 2 weeks ago, I totally was that person posting the picture of the family in Mexico. So that's something I think you really got to be disciplined about. Mm-hmm. It can be an escape, but it can be a dangerous escape.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think I have a love-hate relationship with it myself because I was so out of it when my husband passed. He passed suddenly, and I put it out there. I think I put R.I.P. BFW like within hours. Like it was the same day. He died on a Sunday, and I think I put it out there on Sunday afternoon, and I don't know why I did it. I wished I wouldn't have, because unfortunately that's how a lot of people found out. But it's also been very helpful to me in that, some days if I'm having a bad day, I might just put it out there, not the best day. I don't typically do that, but once in a while I do. I'm probably a little bit more of a public griever, and I probably don't need to be, but it will help if I'm really down. What's hard is, and it's done in a loving way, but when your friends and family post pictures of your loved one, and they mean it in the sweetest way, but sometimes it's just hard to see it, and you get a little bit of a shock sometimes.
Right, you're sitting in the school pickup line and decide to scroll through, and whoa, I wasn't expecting to see that.
And I think people have learned that, if they're going to do that, they ask me.
Right.
And let me know, or like, do you mind if I post this picture? And that's good. And I don't want people to think that they can't. It's just in those first months, it's very alarming at times because it jolts you. It jolts you. And that along that same line, it is hard to see the family is intact, as I like to say. And I'm so happy that the majority of the people I know in this world are not going through what I'm going through. At times, it's very hard to see it. The anniversary pictures and the happy 20th, 25th anniversary. And I think, boy, I didn't get that. I guess I'm lucky I got 10 and a half years and 3 days, but I didn't get 20 or 25. And that's sometimes on the wrong day, that's just hard to see. And it doesn't mean I'm not happy for them. It's just hard.
And I think that's just a social media, it's something I tell my girls. You can't compare what's going on in your life with the pictures someone has posted. That's not always the best indicator of what's happening in someone's life. But at the same time, I love, seeing those photos of families. Sarah and I noticed an interesting phenomena after, in our previous life, you could post on Facebook, hey, headed to the football game, and 15 people would like it, and you would feel like, yay me, 15 people like my photo. Now, when Sarah or I post something, no less than 100. I mean, and I don't have a lot of friends, but everybody is just so happy to know you're out there doing well. Like, I think the biggest one was my girls and I had a family photo taken, and
Yes.
that was kind of a big milestone event for us to go do that. And it went, and the photographer actually posted it. And it had like 185 likes.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt like a teenage girl counting my likes.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, wow,
popular.
look at this.
Super
But we
popular.
joke that we could post that today I brushed my teeth and you'd get 120 likes.
Right.
And,
Because the things that we did before our tragedies happened were things that we did, and we still do them. But now I think once you go through that sort of thing, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you got out of bed and like put a comb through your
and I
hair.
do think, and I have had people tell me that it does help them to see
Yes.
how we're progressing. You know,
Yes.
we may share a grief post that we've seen and make
Yes.
some notes, or we may share a photo of my girls and I on vacation.
Yes.
And it does help people that you don't have day-to-day contact see and
that
know
you're okay.
that you're thriving. And but I think it's important to be honest throughout the process and not just, all smiles and giggles. And
Facebook is not a good indicator of how your life really is. And I
Right.
think there's nothing more important to be said than that, because I've had people tell me, oh, well, you must be doing really great based on your Facebook. And I'm like, no, if you read them all,
right.
I'm not always doing great. But where the love hate comes in with social media and myself is the love part of it is we found, Stacy found her first, our little woman that we stalk on Facebook that writes her blog that has truly made lemonade out of lemons in her life and has just been, I hate to use the word inspiring, but she has been inspiring. And I do love reading her posts, and I like sharing her posts because I am not as eloquent as she is. And some days, as we talked about earlier, she gets it right onto what I might be thinking. And I can just say, this is how I feel, tag it, or share it, and send it out there. And the people start to understand where you're going with it. We need
Absolutely.
to understand. It helps people understand what we're going through. And so for people out there that are going through this, social media can be, it can be your friend and it can be your enemy. It just depends. And on some days it's both. I don't know.
Yeah, it has served a great purpose for me in finding some of those resources.
Yes.
And, especially I live in a rural community and I might not have access to, small groups and young widows groups and those kind of things. And so social media has definitely served its purpose there. I love Twitter for that purpose because there's, I read it for the articles. Can I say that? It connects you to those articles, and I'm kind of a learner, and I feel like if I can read up on it, that will help me tackle it a little better, and it does provide that. But I have a social media struggle right now. Just a few months before my husband's accident, I posted a family picture of us on vacation. The comments were, oh, you should use this for your Christmas card, those
Yeah.
kind of things.
Yeah.
And that was my big profile picture, not the little
Right.
one,
Right.
the big one.
That's the big, yeah.
So it's still there, and I'm not quite 2.5 years in. And so the question is, how long do you leave it? Well, that's our family photo. Does it make people uncomfortable to see it? And you can't just change it and no one knows. As soon as you change it, everyone knows
Yeah,
that you
everybody
changed
sees
your
you've changed
profile
your
picture.
profile.
I've spent some time trying to figure out how to do it without. Well, then everybody wants to know, why'd you change it? Are you, and so that's my current life dilemma.
I understand that life dilemma, although my profile picture's been the same one since the day I started, which is my son and I, so really that doesn't, but I do put a lot of pictures of my husband, but then other people will go, his Facebook account is still open, and we
So
both
is-
talked about this, and it's left, and we were talking about, do you change it? What do you do with it? When do you get rid of it? When do you stop it? But I can't stop it because,
Have you changed your status?
can we do that? Is there a status change for widow?
I know, I haven't changed mine
Like,
either.
I get it.
I know, just get off my back. Another thing that Facebook has been great, and then days it causes me a lot of tears, are this today in the past
Yeah,
thing.
I don't do that. I try not to.
When
look.
it first started, I couldn't do it. I
Yeah,
could
I
not
don't
look
do it.
back and see that 3 years ago today
I don't
we
do
were
it.
at the pumpkin patch. Every once in a while, one will pop up, and
Yeah,
it just makes me smile.
good.
But that's something you really have to control when you go look at it. You just, I don't do it very often, but on solid days, I might go scroll up and be pleasantly surprised.
Well, and I've learned to, it's, some days I just can't do I can't do it. I
Right.
can't even do the Facebook. I just can't look at it. It's just too hard. On a hard day, yeah, it can be too much, I think. And it's not because people are, I mean, nobody's trying to offend or hurt, or it's just hard
You
for
just
me.
have to know what you can handle,
Right.
and don't put yourself in a situation that's just gonna
There's no reason to torture yourself.
Absolutely.
Just don't look at it for a couple of days
Absolutely.
if you can. And I find that I do that more and more depending on my days, and I don't even scroll that far in anymore. I don't go back too far. Sometimes I just don't want to know things, you
Right.
know?
Right.
I guess that's just kind of where I'm at. That, and I think we touched on the anniversaries, and though I'm so happy for all that have anniversaries still, that is still one of the hardest things for me to see.
And our wedding anniversary was in August, and
yeah.
I think everyone has and all the college friends
did.
that got
Everybody
married the same
did.
time you did, and
Yeah.
so they were celebrating 21 and 22.
Yeah, and you were right there
and
in that.
Boom, that would have been us. And yeah, those are days you just got to set that phone aside and don't torture yourself. That is my advice if I'm dispensing it.
Yeah, I mean, in the early days, I think it just helped get out information for me, but I don't even remember that much about what went on. I just remember I had so many messages, and I had all kinds of
Right.
personal, like, the instant
Private,
messages or
yeah.
whatever, private messages, and I don't even know if I've read half of them still. I really haven't gone back to that day and looked at all the stuff on
I did that not too long ago. Finally
did?
went back and read some of those because that was it's 2014, 15, and that's how people were reaching out to me because they don't know your address to send you a card.
Right.
They don't, your number's not in the book anymore to give you a call, and so they send you a Facebook
Right,
message.
because you
and-
moved and I moved, and so people
Right.
still don't know how to get a hold of me.
So I have later on gone back and read those, and which is great that they're still there.
That's one thing
so
that's preserved.
That is nice.
Did people go onto your husband's page and just
They
post
do.
on his? People
do.
do that for mine too. I've done it. I tag him every
Yeah,
now and
I
again.
haven't done that.
It's done it like 2 times. I've done it like probably 2 or 3 times.
I have one friend of ours that was a running buddy of my husband's, and he will go on there and tell him about his run or
That's
tag
cool.
him in his run.
And see, for
or-
those reasons, I think it's neat to keep it
It
out
is,
there.
and so
People do that. I've noticed.
Yeah, changing the profile picture and getting rid of his page and changing my status are things that.
That would flip everybody's skirts.
Yeah, and I'm not ready to.
Flip skirts.
No, not even my own.
Yeah,
So-
no. I mean, and then it's like on the anniversary, he always posted a picture, and so I post a picture of us, and that's always a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only been through this once since he died, but it's my 12-year anniversary's days away, so I have that looming, and will I post a picture? Or
If you do post a picture,
will
Sarah,
will you like it?
I will like it, and I will also say, you're so inspiring.
That you actually got, just because I finally got married. I got married a little bit later in life than most of my friends. So yes. Oh,
You
yeah.
are inspiring.
I am, because I got married, and
Yeah.
I've gotten through it. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I think social media, there's a lot to it, good and bad. You just have to embrace it. You just have to know what you're dealing with, and don't get in on it if you're not ready for it on a certain day. That
Yeah,
would be-
I just absolutely think you got to be really self-aware of how it affects you, and don't think that I can just sit in the school pickup line and scroll through this and it's not going to be a big deal. For me, it can mess with you and kind of hang with you the rest of the day, and you not realize it. Scrolling through it right before you go to bed, not good news.
No.
If there is that blog post or that one widow fan page that really is helpful to you, go directly to their blog.
Totally.
Go on the World Wide Web and
Yeah,
find their
the
blog.
interwebs.
Yeah, go
No,
on the line and find it.
On the line, yes, on the lines, on the interwebs. I also will say this, and I'm sure this has happened to you. There are people that come up to me personally that will say, I saw that post. I think that's great.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're doing it. It's good to see what's going on. I'm starting to understand what you're going through, because people do truly just want to help and don't know how to. And when you can give them a little bit of information or share a little bit, if you're in a way to do that on a particular day, I think it genuinely helps people that are just trying
And
to
it's
understand
not,
you.
it's not what my teenagers call vague booking. You know, you
Oh.
have put out a legitimate post, article that helps people. It's not you posting, I'm having a rotten day, and then everyone panics and calls and wonders how you're doing.
Send you
You're putting
flowers.
out, you're putting out solid information that kind of helps them know that, yeah, she's struggling right now, but that's normal. This is where she's at in the process. She may hang out in that place for weeks, but this helps. And so, yeah, absolute benefits of social media. Just
And I have found that it also, like, people that I wouldn't expect to hear from have commented or said things or personal messaged me, whatever. I mean, that I would never have expected to hear from, that have said, I appreciate you putting this out there. Helps, you know, it's just, I like to know what's going on. I follow it. I pay attention to it. You know, I want to know that, well, how you're doing. And so I appreciate, and I'm like, I'm surprised. And it's kind of comforting to know that some of the people that you don't see daily or talk to daily or weekly or monthly are out there, and that via the social media, I guess, via the Facebooks.
I always think, yeah, this isn't the life I wanted, but
Nope.
I also would not have done well as a pioneer woman or a World War II widow, where I would have had to wait weeks to hear from my family,
Victorian.
and I couldn't have, had this instant communications. So there is real value in it. Just moderation.
Yeah, or like Morse code days.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have liked that.
No, we would
No.
not.
I wouldn't have done well in the
I still
Morse
would not
codes.
have received the telegram that you were a widow. We'd
Yeah.
still be waiting for that since
Still,
we
yeah,
live
you
far
still
away.
wouldn't. You wouldn't even know.
Right.
You probably wouldn't even know
Right.
yet.
I would not. Yeah.
It would be crazy. But yeah,
So-
so this is our take on social media from Widow Chat.